Alright guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Well, I recently filmed a video with my colleague Steve where we fixed up his old E46 330 convertible. And in that video I mentioned that he was looking for a cheap Mini Cooper S to replace it with. You know, something fun and nippy that he could use at the weekends. He looked at a good few Minis and then ultimately decided against them. Then he spotted a very cheap BMW Z4. Now, Steve's a big fan of the Z4. When I first met him a few years ago, that's what he had. Although that was just a 2.2, and he always said to me, one day I'll get one with a bigger engine, a 2.5 or a 3 litre. He saw this one pop up on some sort of BMW Z4 owners club forum, and it was advertised for just £1,000. It had just been reduced that day from £1,500 down to £1,000. The owner was really keen to get rid of it quickly. Steve sent the guy a message to see if it was still available, and it was, but the guy said it had loads of interest since he'd reduced it. In fact, there was somebody going to look at it in the next half an hour or so Steve was a bit deflated. When he called me to tell me that, I said, well, don't be too deflated, he might not buy it. And if he doesn't, then we'll go down there for it. It was down in Leicestershire somewhere, so it was a 2-hour drive, so I said, well, I'll take you after work, it's not a problem. Anyway, about 20 minutes later, the guy called Steve to say, right, this guy hasn't bought it, so it's still available. I'd just finished filming, so I went back to the office, picked up Steve, and then we set off for Leicestershire. What happened next is like a lesson in how not to buy a car. There were so many red flags. For a start, the guy had only owned it for about 6 weeks, which always makes me suspicious. Then the guy explained that there was an engine light on, but he said, oh, don't worry, I think it's only an O2 sensor. There wasn't much history with it, there was only one key, just all the signs were there telling us not to buy it. As we were about an hour into the journey, I said to Steve, have you done a car vertical check on this, just to check that it's, you know, not a write-off or something? He said, no, I haven't done it yet, I was going to do it when we get there. So I said, right, let me do one then. So, this was quite a funny report actually, I'd never seen anything like this. It turns out it was a write-off, it'd been involved in an accident and then it'd been repaired, which, to be honest, if it was an expensive car, that would have put me off straight away. But at £1,000 for a Z4 that runs and drives, I thought, well, you can't have it always, can you? Yes, it's been involved in an accident, but so what? It's been repaired, it's back on the road, you know, who cares? You've got to be realistic, haven't you? Then there was another red flag that the car vertical check told us. It had, you ready for this? 17 owners. A 17 owner car. Now, I've mentioned this in loads of videos that if a car's had multiple owners, it doesn't always put me off. In many ways, it can be quite a good thing. If a 10-year-old car's had 5 owners, that's 5 fresh people all treating that car like their pride and joy. All servicing it, all cleaning it on a Sunday, all that sort of stuff. Plus, occasionally, a car can have a high number of owners for genuine reasons. Somebody could have passed away. Quite often, people are a bit incompetent and don't know how the paperwork works, and they'll put it in their wife's name and then think, oh, hang on a minute, it should have gone in my name. Then they'll change it to their name, straight away you've added another owner. So there are many reasons, but I thought 17 was quite excessive. I've never seen a car with such high ownership. So I looked at Steve looked back over at me. We both said, well, for £1,000, you can't really go wrong, can you? If you got a year out of this, you could pretty much scrap it, get 500 quid back for it, and you've had a cheap Z4 for a year. So we were both being quite pragmatic, really, not reckless. Not reckless, I promise. Pragmatic. That's why it's really important to do one of these car vertical checks before you hand over any cash for a used car or motorbike, because you just don't know what you're buying. This car wasn't advertised as a write-off, nor was it advertised as having 17 owners. It's only thanks to Car Vertical that we know this information. If you want to do one of these checks for yourself, and like I say, it is really important, you can save yourself 20% if you use my promo code HIGHPEAK. That's HIGHPEAK, all one word, HIGHPEAK, and yeah, 20% off each and every check that you do. You can use that promo code as many times as you like. So apart from being a write-off, it was clear on all the other fronts. It never had a mileage rollback, there was no outstanding finance on it, it never been stolen, so that was all good. Then we scrolled down to the MOT history, and that was quite clear as well. The car vertical check, by the way, isn't just a UK thing, it works in 35 different countries. I'll leave the link below in the video description so you can do one of these checks for yourself, but it is really easy. All you need to do is go to carvertical.com and type in the reg or the VIN. Anyway, this story gets better. When we finally got to Leicester, when we got to the guy's road, there were just loads of people there. It was quite intimidating, really. There was him, his missus, his mate, his mate's missus, and just a load of other people sort of all stood around the car. So I was looking at Steve, I was like, right, you need to be quick, just buy this and get out of here. I don't want to spend an hour on the street kicking the tyres and checking the oil and all that sort of stuff. Just drive it, make sure it's got a clutch in it, and make sure the brakes work, and then let's hit the road. It turns out as well, when Steve was paying for it, the logbook wasn't even the guy's name. So like I say, just so many red flags. This really is how not to buy a car. But again, for £1,000 for a Z4, it was kind of worth taking the risk. Steve got back off his test drive and he said it drove very well, so he bought it and we hit the road. Now, we stopped at the first services and just checked the oil levels and all that sort of stuff, but I didn't look around it too carefully. only from a distance. So I thought today we'd have a proper look around it and see what it needs. Now this will need some work. I know Steve's already mentioned swapping the wheels for some M Sport wheels. I think it needs a new grille as well. So anyway, let's go and have a look at it. I'll give you the full tour. We'll take it for a drive and formulate some sort of to-do list. Quite a nice day today. Perfect day to test drive a cheap Z4. A cheap 17 owner written off Z4. Right, well there it is then in all its glory. Parked up next to Sam from SPR's CLK55 AMG that I recently did a video with. And it looks good. So there are a couple of dents, I remember seeing those on the front wing, weirdly on both sides. I don't know whether some sort of kid's bike's dropped against it or a shopping trolley or something, but they're in exactly the same place. It's a good colour, probably the best colour for a Z4. It comes with that private plate, or, you know, a Northern Irish plate, whatever it is. But it's got xenons, because it's got the headlamp wash. Somebody's fitted those horrible black grills to it, so I'd like to get rid of those. I mean, with Steve's permission, of course. Bin those and just replace them with some factory silver grills. That would look so much better. But it's quite a tidy car. A few dents in the door, but not too bad. Tyres look okay. I don't know if I'd bother replacing those wheels, to be honest. They're not offensive, they look all right. I've seen worse. That should be quite an easy car to improve, really. It looks all right. Right, let's park up then, and I'll show you around it. Right, well here it is then. So like I say, it is finished in the best colour combination. Black interior, grey exterior. And it does look quite tidy. Once those grills are binned and replaced with the factory silver, that'll look a whole lot better. I would say that's had a new headlamp on that side. That one looks original. There's a bit of damage here. Now, I don't know where the accident happened, you see. I don't mean geographically, I mean on the car. This isn't, obviously that isn't right. So I would say the accident was there, but then we've got a new headlamp on that side, which is weird. We've got a dented wing. That's what I was saying to you before. Just here. But the lads at Dent should be able to pop that out. Up front we've got a Yokohama tyre. The wheels could do with a refurbish actually, so we might run it to Prestige. Tyre's okay on about 3mm. Panel gaps here aren't great, so I think it has had a front end whack. These panel gaps are alright though. Down here, about on the bonnet. That's not bad either really. That's not right. I think it has had a front end collision then. Still, for £1,000, it's an awful lot of car, isn't it? We've got an M Performance sticker there, which I don't like, but whatever. We've got a Uniroyal tyre on the back. The Uniroyal's quite a decent brand, sort of a decent middle of the road. That's on about 5mm, so that's pretty good. The roof's in good condition. So these have a glass window at the back, not plastic like the Z3. That's in decent nick, actually. No chips in the windscreen, that's all good. Bear in mind, I saw this very briefly the other night. Didn't really inspect it too thoroughly. Moving around the back, we've got parking sensors that look, I guess they look aftermarket because they're not colour-coded, unless they've been replaced. Panel gaps look okay there as well. Got nice chrome exhaust tips. Not bad really. We've got matching plates, Motor Parts Direct. That's not quite right. The actual boot lid sits much lower than that trim there, so that's not right. That needs adjusting. Little dent there. That panel gap there isn't right, is it? It's quite gappy there, as opposed to quite tight on that side. Have we got a matching Uniroyal? No, this one's a Continental. So we've got 3 decent brand tyres, but they're all odd, aren't they? That one's on about 3mm of tread, not too bad. Brake discs look okay. Another M Performance sticker. Nothing looks like, none of the panels look off colour. Usually you can tell where something's had paint because the finish is like orange peel or it's off colour. We've got a Toyo tyre. So again, 4 decent tyres, but they're all odd. This one's done a repair there on the wheel arch liner, quite poorly. So that one's repairing, but that's not too bad, is it? For £1,000, I'd have paid £1,000 for that. Once we've got these dents popped out, there's one there. There's one on the door there. It's not bad at all, is it? Dents popped, wheels refurbished or replaced, new grille. Repair the front bumper. Central locking works. Inside then, smells very BMW-esque. Get that nice leather smell. What have we got? It needs a good clean. Got bits of some rolling tobacco and stuff on the floor. So, right, spec-wise, we've got power folding mirrors, which is good. What else have we got? We've got heated seats. That's not bad. I like the steering wheel on these. It's kind of like a Z8, isn't it? It's a really pretty steering wheel. The whole interior, to be honest, is quite timeless. They've aged quite well, I think. It's nice and clean and minimalistic. Okay, let's have a look under the bonnet then, shall we? Have a look in the boot as well. So in the boot. Ah, right, the boot lid is fouling on that, so I can't open it. This needs adjusting, doesn't it? Either that's too high or the boot's too low. It's quite loose on this side. Look at that. It's too much play in that, and it's catching there. Right, we'll forget that for now then. We'll have to sort that out. It might need new brackets or something, or hopefully it can just be adjusted. Right, let's have a look under the bonnet. Bonnet's nice and light, lifted up very effortlessly. The struts still work. Okay, I'm just looking for signs of damage here. Doesn't smell of oil. Now BMWs of this era always leak oil badly, or they tend to anyway. So I'd expect to smell a load of burnt oil, but no, nothing. Can't see any drips or leaks, nothing obvious anyway. Chassis legs look straight, no sign of impact there. This could have been a very minimal, a very minor whack, and it's just written it off. I mean, they write off cars for anything these days, don't they? Okay, right. This being a 2.5 should go well as well, shouldn't it? Sterling grey metallic. Okay. We need to drive this, don't we? See what it's like. So there is an engine light on apparently. It's overdue an inspection by 7,600 miles. It's on 162,000 miles. Sounds sweet though. This is what Steve said to me as well. Turn that off a little bit. Wonder if the air conditioning works. I doubt it in a car like this, but we'll see. Ah, we've got a cup holder. That was an optional extra. Quite a nice feature. Yeah, heated seats, power roof, some storage here. Ah, CD player as well, and a pen. Gets better, doesn't it, this? I don't think there's any history. Well, there's a few receipts, but nothing comprehensive. Let's try the roof. I think he did this. So far, so good. Should have brought my sunglasses. They're good cars, these, you know. If you just want a little toy. Now my engine light's on, but it's idling fine. It's not lumpy. Sounds good. Okay, right. Let's get this on the road then, shall we? Straight away, you know, this feels quite nice. Clutch feels good. Steering feels nice. Seats are comfortable, no rips. The seatbelt's not all stiff. You know, sometimes you get in a high mileage car and the seatbelt won't retract properly. That's not the case with this, we're all good. This feels very nice, actually. Now, usually, every single Z4 I've driven has got really heavy steering. This feels, well, it's lighter than I was expecting. Clutch feels good. Sounds nice. I think for £1,000, just to get a summer or two out of it, you really can't go wrong, can you? Yes, it's had 17 owners, and yes, it's been involved in an accident, but does it matter, really? The whole point of a car like this, if it's cheap, is just to enjoy it for what it is. The air conditioning works as well. That is a surprise. Now, what Steve's going to do with this is take it to Mike over at the Z shed, who's going to service it and sort out that engine light. Move my parking pass before it goes flying. This is good fun to drive, this. Feels solid over the bumps. There are no noises to suggest we've got cracked springs or worn bushes or anything. I now see why he was so giddy about it, you know. Just goes to show, doesn't it? You don't need a really expensive car to have some fun. I really like this. So you've got a 2.5 litre straight six petrol engine, which is really reliable. Generally. It goes well. I think it produces about 200 horsepower. It's rear wheel drive. I don't think they have a limited slip diff. I think the 3 litres did, but the 2.5 didn't. But still, it'll be fun enough to drive. Pulls well. When you accelerate, there are no knocks to suggest my engine mounts are worn. You know what, to say this has done 162,000 miles, I'm well impressed. You know what's funny as well? So many people would have just been put off by this car. 17 owners, Cat N or Cat D, whatever it was, 162,000 miles, 1 key. Last owner had it for 6 weeks, logbook not in his name. Nobody in their right mind, sorry Steve, would have bought this. I would though, I'm quite pleased with it. That's so strong, you know. It pulls really well. The gearbox is nice. No crunches, it's not difficult or tight to get any gears. I want one of these now. They handle so well. Yes, we've got 4 odd tyres, but at least they're a decent brand. We've got no Ling Longs or Evergreens or Roadstones. Right, well, I'm going to go back to the office now then, have a chat with Steve. I think he's already booked this in with Mike at the Z shed. I'll have to check. But can't imagine there being that much wrong with it, really. Not sure why the engine light's on. Maybe it is just an O2 sensor or something, but certainly pulls well. There are no symptoms. I can't believe the aircon works as well. You'd have just expected this to be a really neglected car, wouldn't you? Maybe every single one of its 17 owners really loved and cherished it. Oh, hang on a minute. We had funny brakes then. There's a load of vibrations like my ABS wasn't working. Weirdly though, we've got no brake warning light on. I've had this loads of times over the years with old Toyotas and Lexus. Sometimes you get this sort of weird buzzing sensation under the brake pedal. I've only ever had it with those 2 brands. It's not doing it now, but I'll have to mention that to Steve. Tell him to be careful in it. It's a nice thing though, this. Well impressed. Right, I'm going to go back to the office now then, have a chat with Steve and get him on eBay and order a new grille for it. I just find that homemade DIY blacked out grille deeply offensive. I just think it looks naff. You see so many E46s and Z4s like this. Is this the E85? I think it is. With a blacked out grille that it should never have had, and it just looks odd. Anyway, I'm pretty sure once Mike gets this up on the ramp, there'll be nothing majorly wrong with it. Personally, I would give it a full service, spark plugs, fluids, filters, the whole lot. I'd drain the coolant and replace it. I'd do the same thing with the brake fluid and the power steering. That way you just know that everything's been done, everything's brought up to date. Because there's not much history, you can't really go back and check. So I think I'd just spend maybe 500 or 600 quid on it and get everything done. That way, you know, you should have a decent, reliable car for the next year or 2. That's what I'd do anyway. I think I'd spend 30, 40 pounds on a new grille, 60, 70 quid getting those dents popped out, and then we're away. Right, the next time you see this car then, it probably won't be me on camera. It'll probably be Steve and or Mike. But Mike up at the Z shed is really knowledgeable, so if you have a Z3 or Z4 or I think any BM to be honest, Mike's your man. Oh, we've got sport mode too. You know what happened then when I pressed the sport mode button? We got a little red light, little LED light on the sport button. And that was it. Oh yes.
Alright guys, it's been a couple of weeks since Matt filmed that section with the Z4 and I'm still absolutely smitten with it. I've been driving it on and off for the past couple of weeks just to keep everything running smoothly, the battery charge, that kind of thing. And I've done probably close to 200 or 300 miles in it, but it's not without its problems and I've discovered a few more along the way. Firstly, and most worryingly, the brakes push back a little bit if you press too hard, so it hasn't really given me the confidence to push this car yet. to be honest, I've been driving it a bit like Miss Daisy. Secondly, this morning, which I think is because I've not driven it for a few days, I've got a battery light, so I'm hoping that's just a case of it's not been driven, so the battery's running low. I hope that'll kind of clear itself and won't come back on. Then occasionally, it's intermittent, it's not like a regular fault, but then I get a tyre pressure light, an ABS light, and I think it's a handbrake light, the exclamation mark with the circle. So, not sure what that is. I don't think it's anything serious. It's probably some sort of sensor just because it does come and go. If I stop the car, turn it off, it'll disappear and won't come on again until I hit a bump or just drive for a couple of minutes. Oh, and to top it off, the passenger side wing mirror glass is probably a sneeze away from falling off. So I'll have to get that sorted at some point. And that's on top of all the faults that me and Matt have already found. So the airbag light, the engine light, the boot not opening, and then all the kind of cosmetic scars it's got. But I'll probably give that to Dents next door to the office, D3 NTS, just to get all that sorted. Still, I need to keep reminding myself that this has only cost me £1,000 so far. So maybe I need to lower my expectations slightly. Maybe to be like, I don't know, it starts first time in the morning. Anyway, today we're on the way to see my mechanic Mike at the Z Shed. He's a BMW specialist, specifically with Z3 and Z4s. He's been my mechanic for the past 8 or 9 years. I think once you find a good mechanic, you just kind of stick with him, and Mike's the best when it comes to BMW and Z4 cars. So he's going to give the car a full inspection, check it over, try and figure out what that engine light's for and all the other lights that I keep getting so it doesn't look like a Christmas tree. Hopefully he doesn't condemn it or give me a bill that makes me just want to frame my V5 and hang it on the wall. Oh, there's another Z4. That one's a coupe. It's a 3 litre, I think. And I think, I might be wrong, so correct me if I'm wrong, is a rare kind of cherry black with a beige interior. It's a really nice car. I do like the coupes. I prefer the Roadsters so you can have the roof down in the summer, but they do look cool. I bet you that's going to the Z Shed as well. Not because they're unreliable, just because once you drive a Z4 you love it and you look after it. By the way, if you've not seen Mike on the channel before, oh, I hate this road, you'll be properly impressed with his knowledge. You can look at something and just know exactly what's wrong. That's why you've got to find yourself a really good specialist, in my opinion. Let's take this into Mike and get it up on the ramp.
Oof. Right, so what's the gist, what are we doing?
See if we can get a full inspection. Bought it for £1,000. Loads of red flags when I first bought it. There's an engine light on, passenger lights on,
yeah,
and a few other bits.
Okay. All right, what we'll do, we'll plug it in, do a diagnostic, which takes a few minutes on these because they're quite slow talking to the system. And while we're doing that, we'll have a little look around, see what we can see.
Okay.
Jay, just want to pass us the icon, please.
I'm owner number 17 as well.
17, that's got to be a bit of a record, hasn't it? 17, Jesus. I mean, they do suffer with a lot of owners, obviously, because people sell them, don't they? And they have them for the summer, and that's where the servicing misses out on them, though, because people scrimping, they just get an oil change, an oil change, an oil change.
Oh, it needs a service.
Yeah. That's why we get 2003, 4 cars in that have got a full service history, but when you get the cabin filter out, it's dated 2003. The cover off the OBD port's missing. That's generally not a good sign, is it? No. Not in bad condition, though.
No, it's got a few dents and stuff.
Well, those wheels are for 3 series. 1 series.
I was going to change them, so I put some cheap ones up the other week, but
They're quite suited that, though, aren't they?
Boot doesn't open, so that. Well, it does, but
have the springs gone on the little? What you've got to do generally, if you lift it there and just pull it, just lift it there like that. There we go. Springs will have snapped there, see? And what happens is, when you pop the boot, they lift the back up so it clears. This has had hardtop on it at some stage.
Right, okay.
Those little rubbers there are the sort of similar to the BMW factory option. And when you put a hardtop on, and that's not there, they goes really close to the glass on the hardtop. This edge here, because the hardtop sits about there. So BMW had like these little bushes that you put on there, and that's what they're for. Right. But yeah, it just wants those springs replacing, and then yeah, it's just and that's the side that's dented, isn't it? That's been captured. Yeah. That one's okay. If you look there, Steve, that's what it should be like. And basically, it just pops the back of the boot lid up. Because if you look when it's down there like that, that one's flushish, and that one's below on the corner there, and that's why it's catching.
Right.
So yeah, easy enough. Get you a hinge for that. Okay, let's have a quick look under the bonnet and see if we can see. Sounds sweet enough for the mileage. What's on 160?
Yeah.
Sounds sweet enough. Original expansion tank. It's
Right.
done really well with that because they are known for just going. Little bit of an oil leak from the cam cover gasket, and also from the oil filter house. And these M54s generally only leak oil in 2 places. If it's on that side, it's cam cover gasket. If it's on that side, it's the oil filter housing. Oil filter housing one generally looks worse than it is. It just blows oil everywhere under the car. And someone's replaced the intake boot, which is a common cause of the engine light on these, but that's been replaced already. So the diagnostic shows suspension bushes are good on the front. Have you been underneath it?
No.
Send it up and have a look underneath while it's scanning on the diagnostic. Oh, Steve, you didn't tell me it was an M Performance one.
No, them stickers are coming straight off.
Body work's not bad for the mileage.
It's got a few dents around it.
I know, but it's no rust.
No. But I could do with the new front bumper and stuff, so at least it'll be easy to
I
find.
might have one.
It's got a headlight wash though.
Not needed for the MOT.
Nice to have though, isn't it?
No, because it just means that either your washer fluid leaks out everywhere when the pipe goes behind the bumper, or you forever top the thing up. Let's have a little look underneath. Brake pipes have already been replaced, which is a good start. These rot terribly. Let's add new shockers as well, and new springs by the look of it, Steve.
Doing all right for a grand so far.
Someone's been spending money on it, yeah? Discs aren't that old either. It's got Xenons as well. Tray's missing there, the cover, the aluminium tray. Secondary cat delete as well. Just check and see if I have one of my back boxes on it. You notice that it's a bit more raspy than your 3 litre one was, because they've taken the secondary cats out there. Been done nice, that though. It's had the prop rebuilt, that, with a new centre bearing as well. Someone's been spending money. Aircon works.
Is that what that trip is there?
Yeah. This oil here is, because it's on the left hand side of the end, this is what's coming from the oil filter housing gasket. So it looks really bad, but it's not. It's a relatively easy job. It's about an hour, and it's just like a little profile gasket.
Right.
Just got to take the whole oil filter house off the side of the engine. And you've got a little bit of a leak just up there from the cam cover, which normally manifests itself as a smell of burning oil on the exhaust. When they've done this exhaust, they've replaced these bolts as well, which again is another problem area. It's got new lower arms on it. New shockers all around, and springs. So someone's been spending money on the sacks as well. Look at the best part of £1,000 for shocks and springs from sacks. Well, there's your money back straight away. Have you been off-roading in this car?
Not recently.
Well, that is not very well fixed. You'll have to sort that before you go. It's an E4600 trailer.
Right.
Again, the oil leaks, not a massive issue. It's missing the under tray there, which is common. They get broken, but it's had some damage on that corner, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So it's probably been damaged then. So we'll.
It's got some wood screws in it at the back.
Yeah, we'll bolt that back up for you. Underneath, actually looks okay, to be fair. No lemon in sight. Yeah, looks okay underneath.
The brake's pushing back then, was that?
More than likely, is it only happening? Is it happening when you brake?
Yeah, when I brake fairly hard, not like.
Okay, and it's like a vibration
Yeah, it's like pushing back.
through the pedal. Okay, I need to double check to make sure there's no faults with the DSC sensors and stuff, but generally it's discs.
Right.
And do you know what? They actually don't look that old. What it might be worth doing, has it been stood for a while?
I'm not sure. I've been using it bits, but I didn't want to use it until it's
Looks like it's been stood for a while, because the discs, believe it or not, look relatively new. They're relatively new all round. Someone's obviously spent money on it. Pads are like new as well. it might be worthwhile running the beds and in process for the discs, the pads again.
Right.
Which I always go by what Brembo say. When you get new pads and discs fitted, a lot of places say, oh, you've got to brake really slow, really gentle for so many miles. I think that's the wrong way of doing it in sort of Brembo, because everything just sort of gets smoothed over and you know, varnishes up. When pads are new, they have a release compound on them so they can get them out of the mould, and you need to burn that off. So what Brembo say the correct beds and in procedure is for new pads and discs is accelerate to about 50 or 60 miles an hour, brake as hard as you can down to walking speed, and then back up to 50 or 60, and do it 3 or 4 times till you smell.
Right, okay.
Or they fade, and then just drive without braking, because at that point they're quite hot and they're quite soft, so if you come to a stop, you'll end up with bits of pad stuck on the disc, and that's what gives you the actual vibration. Because obviously if there's bits of pad stuck on the disc, it's a bit thicker in one place than the other, and as the wheel's spinning, it does that with the pistons, and that is transferred back to the pedal. So it might be worthwhile just running that procedure. Just find a bit of empty road and do it till you stink. So we've got it connected to the BMW ISTA dealer software. Just running a scan on it. How many owners has it got?
16.
16. So that's roughly 2 faults per owner.
I've had worse.
Not the most we've ever seen. 31. Oh, hang on, we might get to 2 faults per owner.
I think my Jag had over 100, didn't it?
Yeah, well that's Land Rover. Anything to do with Land Rover. If it's in double figures, you're lucky. Okay, so on there, basically anything that's green is good. Anything that's red is effectively dead because we can't talk to it. And anything that's orange has got a fault. So we've got 31 faults. We're not talking to the airbag module in the left-hand sill. Probably explains why we've got an airbag light on. For some strange reason, we're not talking to the power steering. Any problems with the power steering?
That I've noticed.
It's electrical on them, so if it's working, let's have a little look. So let's have a little look at the faults. Roof work okay, or does it stop when it's going up?
No, it works straight away, I think.
Looks like it's got a broken wire in the loom there. It's only happened twice, because it gives us an indication of how many times a fault's happened. Now, there's a couple of faults there for what we call mixture preparation, bank 1 and bank 2, and they are quite old faults, and they'll have been cured, just looking at the mileage, they'll have been cured by the replacement of that rubber boost that I mentioned,
right,
common faults, and probably just not cleared the faults. Various pressure sensors. Any traction control lights coming on?
Occasionally. Yes.
Pressure sensors. I just had some delivered this morning. There's a small little sensor that plugs into the master cylinder, and there's 2 of them on to detect the amount of brake pressure in the circuits. Could be something to do with the pulsing as well, and the brake style as well. They're not expensive, and they take 5 minutes to change. We keep them in.
It's really nothing major. So
nothing major, no. The airbag light is also showing a fault for the battery lead, which sounds strange, but on the Z4, because the battery's in the boot, and obviously there's a 12-volt cable that goes all the way along underneath, what it's called a battery shield, and on the outside of it, it's like a tin foil that runs the length of the cable, and it's monitored at either end for resistance by the airbag system. And on the battery positive, you may notice if you've ever been in the battery, it's got like a little thing on it, for want of a better word. It's actually an explosive charge. Right. So if you say...
Pyrofuse type.
Yeah. If you breach the car on, say, a motorway barrier or something, and that cable gets trapped, which could cause a fire, it'll detect it and it'll blow that pyrofuse and disconnect the battery, but over time, the aluminium foil itself degrades quite a lot, and quite often it's normally up by the jump start connector under the body, and it gets a bit of corrosion in it, and it causes it to misread the resistance, which brings the airbag light on, funnily enough. So we'll have a look at that. A lot of these faults are what we call consequential faults, so it's basically one thing's happened, and because of that fault, it's triggered another fault. So the second one's not really a fault, it's just as a consequence of the first one.
Of it.
Yeah, so a lot of the time, because you've got multiple instances of faults, it's better off with these older ones, especially if they've not been used for a while, or things have not been attended to, just to clear the faults and start again and see which comes back. Yeah, so we'll do that now.
So it's not bad for £1,000.
No, you've done well there, mate. I can't buy them that cheap. Well, it's coming back green now. There was a fault for an oxygen sensor on the exhaust. Now, I noticed they've done the bolts on the flange quite often. If when they're getting the old knackered studs out, they hit them with a hammer, it damages the heater element inside the O2 sensor. And so you get intermittent faults. That's why when we do them, we tend to just cut them out with the plasma cutter so we're not hitting them. Okay, that's a bit better. 13 We've lost 19 oxygen sensor. Yeah, so it's the oxygen sensors bringing your fault pulmonary presence. Oxygen sensor 2. There's 2 of them. One's awkward to get at, and one's not so awkward. And again, that fault for the battery shield leaders coming back. So we need to look into that a little bit. It may just want the contact remaking inside the engine bay, and that may cure that fault.
Right, okay.
On the oxygen sensor, let's see which one it is. The beauty about using the BMW system is, it's like an idiot's guide. It tells you the fault, but it also tells you where to look or where to go to fix it. So it should give me a picture of which oxygen sensor is the issue. And there's 4 in the system. There's 2 in front of the cats and 2 behind the cats in 2 different banks of 3 cylinders. So oxygen sensor 2, heated downstream of cat, open circuit. Yeah, it's definitely been knocked.
Right.
So it's B62202, 62202. Yes, it's the awkward one to get at.
Right.
I'll show you which one it is on the car. So it's that one there.
Right.
So awkward to get at, but we've got a spanner that we've actually bent to fit to get that off, and that should cure the engine management light. Because the secondary cats have been deleted, it's not an MOT failure. A lot of people don't realise that on these M54 cars, the secondary cats were only fitted for the Californian emissions because they're the strictest emissions in the world. So they had standard closed loop pair of cats up there, and then they had the additional. So taking them out doesn't affect the emissions. It means it's not compatible with California, so don't be driving over there.
No, not
but the upside of it, you get a better throttle response because they're quite restrictive,
right.
and you get a better exhaust note as well.
Sure.
And that's been done quite nicely, to be fair. But yeah, overall, yeah, not bad. That engine management light, we cleared it, it will come back on.
Okay.
The airbag light will stay on until we look at this battery shielding cable, so we need to get you back in for that.
And
not a bad car at all, mate. Yeah,
the boot.
and service in the boot. Yeah, yeah, we'll get you another hinge.
Yeah.
Yeah, but looking good, mate.
Bro, thank you very much.
No problem.
Well, that's a big relief. There's nothing really expensive that needs fixing with the Z4. Needs a service. I need some springs in the back for the boot, a few other little bits, but nothing that's really scary. So I've got a bit of a bargain here. I'm going to book it back in with Mike to get its service done, get all those parts done. I'm going to take it for a spin around the block now, see if I can sort the brakes out with that little brake test that Mike mentioned earlier on. And yeah, if you want to see a bit more of this car in the future, let us know in the comments down below. I have got some plans with it. I want to take it on a road trip. I need to get the headlight buffed. I need dents to pull the dents out of the wings. But at least it's not rusty underneath. That's one thing, isn't it? And they've even swapped out the vents for some that they had sitting around. So that looks a lot better. I'll make sure to leave a link to the Z Shed down below if you've got a BMW in the northwest area that needs looking at. Mike is the man to take it to. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button. It really helps us out. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. I'll leave the links below. Don't forget to subscribe. And yeah, I won't see you in the next one. It'll be Matt. Cheers, guys.